All right, we got 2 wines today, so I'm going to talk even faster than usual. Just kidding. First, before we get started to the wines, see these wax caps? One of the biggest questions we get is like, how do I open the bottle with the wax cap? Like, do I need a chisel or something? No, you don't. A lot of the wax nowadays is the super soft, pliable wax they're using. They finally figured it out. Sorry, Randy Dunn. And now you can just go straight through the top of the wax and see how it just pops right off like that. Like, how convenient is that? Isn't that awesome? We love the wax seal. It's like good for the environment and stuff. Keeps your wine, in a better position, I think, than putting a capsule on there. And yeah, we're down. So that's how you open with the wax top. You just go right straight to the top like you would anything else. So getting back to it, these cats are environmentally conscious cats. Not to mention the scions. Are the scions like the sons and daughters? That's the scions, right? Is that right? The scion is the son and daughter. Okay, I think they're the scions of 2 of the pioneering winemaking families in Priorat, the Josep Perez from Mas Martinet and Rene Barbier from Clos Mogador. Their children, they were very good friends, and as luck would have it, their children, crazy as it is, kind of got together. So basically what happened is, am I right? Yay, so smart. Anyway, Sara Perez, Joseph's daughter, and Rene Barbier Jr., Rene Barbier's son, got together. We're married, and wouldn't you know it, both of them are brilliant winemakers in their own right. I wonder how that happened, seeing as their parents run 2 of the greatest wineries in Spain. And they decided to start their own project, right? You're the kids, you get itchy. Besides working with the home team, you kind of want to do your own thing. So, Rene and Sara, they wanted to put their own stamp on this project and make it unique. So they didn't stay within Priorat, which they easily could have done. They instead went next door to Montsant. And Montsant is a fabulous appellation that's right next door to Priorat. Doesn't get the run that Priorat does, but has tons of outstanding old vines in its own right, with these crazy hills, schist soils, just complete insanity, just like Priorat is itself, okay? So basically they started Venus, the Universal, a few years back, and we're featuring 2 wines from them today on the email. So I'll get right to it. The first one is their white. Both of these wines are called a Dido. In Spanish it's Dido. If you're German, you say Dido. So both of these are named Dido. Basically, these are the entry-level wines from these guys, but they're anything but entry-level. The reason we're talking about these wines today is they are 2 of the greatest wine values on the planet and have been for a number of years since the start. Basically, with the white wine, we'll come straight out with it. Both these wines are made in a really what we call minimal intervention style, right? Like a cool kid style, but not like a dirty, mousy cool kid style, right? These are very natural, native yeast fermented, spontaneous. They're mixed in a blend of older barrels, concrete, amphora. There really is no set pattern other than to make something that really focuses on the true sense and nature of the terroir that they have. So basically they own about 1/5 of the vineyards themselves, and then they farm with 4 other farmers who are their friends and sell only to them. So 5 different vineyard sources for these wines, but all of them are like farmed and run through by Rene and Sara themselves. So the first wine, the white wine, is a blend of Macabeu, Garnacha Blanca, and in this neck of the woods I call it Cartoixa, but in fact it's the same as Xarel-lo, which is one of the grapes that they use, the white wine grapes that they use to make cava, right, in Penedès. So Macabeo, which is also used, Garnacha Blanca, and Cartoixa, aka Xarel-lo. Now, what we love about this wine is about 20 or 30% of this wine gets some skin contact. So you do see a little hue on there, right? This isn't like that shimmering golden. This has a touch of that skin contact character. But without the real phenolic drive that you get from bad skin contact wines, where it's a white wine that almost tastes tannic. I don't like it when they get tannic. I like the tannins from these white wine skins during this extended maceration to be just as fine and velvety as you get from a red wine. And here you get it. So what happens is that 20% of skin contact adds the amplitude and richness to the wine, but this is done without oak, done without barrels, this side of this sort of deal. It's all done with the fruit itself, right? And we're talking 30 to 70-year-old vines that go into the production of this wine. As natural as it gets, but as clean and precise and true and pure as it gets. And that's what I'm really focusing on with these wines today, is they're just slam dunk versions of an area that's already exuding character and richness and intensity, and they're taking the opportunity to rein in that richness a little bit and then accentuate the character of the area, which is really one of the most phenomenal wine growing spots on the planet. This is dangerous stuff. So seamless, beautiful. The 2018, drinking perfectly now. I adore that stuff. And you know what? This can go with heavier preps, right? So with the skin contact, because there's no oak, you can do it with like oysters and lighter shellfish and stuff. But because of the skin contact and the richness, you can actually do this with chicken, with pork. They eat a lot of pork in this neck of the woods, and you could easily do this, you know, with that kind of roast suckling pig and that kind of deal. And boy, I'm getting hungry just talking about it. Okay, on to the red. The red is also the same vintage, also from the area of Mont-Saint. And here we're dealing with a blend. Okay, and they tell you soils in the front. Granite. A lot of granite in this neck of the woods. You know, in Priorat, there tends to be a little greater focus on the schist, or what we call slate, those black slate soils, the Licorea soils. And here in Mont-Saint, one of the main differences is we get more of that mountainous granitic material like you have like in Beaujolais, all right, as an example. So when you have the granite infuses the wine with this brightness, and it's not quite as marked. It doesn't mark itself in the wine as much as the slate soils do, which that Licorea soil in Priorat is really distinctive. You can smell it straight away in the wines. And here the granite provides this framework for all this wonderful, pretty, creamy fruit that we get out of this wine. There, I said it, creamy. Garnacha, Carignana, Merlot, Cabernet, and Syrah. I think I got all 5 of them. But again, as usually is the case, primarily Garnacha and Carignana here. I hate the pregnant pauses when we're swirling and sipping, so I apologize for that, but we need to fill time. Right, camera guy? Yeah. Oh, you do? Oh, great. So, oh, really? So our videos aren't like those other guys? I'm so happy. That's so annoying when I see that. Okay, so I can just sit here and keep drinking this and getting back to it. Spontaneous fermentation, no new oak, the concrete, the amphora. What it does is it helps to refine the tannin in an area that can produce remarkably tannic wines because of the heat, the terroir, if you let it. And René and Sara, they were very intent on making wines that were gustatory, medium weight, packed with flavor, expressive of the area, not marked by any outside winemaking mantra. And what you have here is just purity in the bottle. Now, not only that, and these are both beautiful. We're going to drink these bottles like in the next hour off camera. But not only that, we have some really special pricing on these wines today, the two 2018s, because they've already moved on to the 2020 in this market, and there was a bit of 2018 left over, which for us is a beautiful thing, because now we have 2 years of bottle age, we have better pricing, and the wine is just absolutely lip-smacking beautiful, both bottles. So that's why we're doing a red and white on the email today. Usually we don't, but in this case, we made a delicious exception. So kudos to René and Sara, 2 of the prettiest, most beautiful Spanish wines that you'll taste this year, especially for the price.